Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of GregTech New Horizons. Last time while we were working on some quests, we got a little sidetracked with some combat and exploration related tasks, and we ended up getting less done than we hoped. So to start today's episode off, we're just going to go through and we're going to hammer out a bunch of these easier quests real fast. So let's get that done. Alright, so we're back, and what's been a couple minutes of knocking out quests for you guys has been a couple hours of grinding out quests for me. In terms of this section, we finally finished crafting these gloves, no big deal. Doors and trapdoors, this was a little bit of a pain. We snagged some pressure plates from the village, but these needed us to make a wire cutter, which was something new. But, whoops, wrong wire cutter. Let's see if we can find the wire cutter down here instead. Here it is. So it requires stuff that we had, but we just needed to put it together. Plates, screws, rods. We also finished crafting this rotor, which we'll have to look into later. We did all of the tanned leather stuff, including making several backpacks and the sleeping bag. We also did a bunch of the food quests. We had some of these done before, but we did things like sugarcane and grabbing these witchery seeds from hoeing grass, making some sandwiches and some kitchenware for Pam's. And we'll look into setting up like a proper kitchen for better food in the next couple of episodes. This is something to look at. Since we have this saw here we need to hand in, carpenter's blocks and stuff, we've messed around with those. So we'll probably hand in some of these quests in the future. Over here we've done some of the combat related stuff, just simple crafts, crafting leather armor, wood armor, just resources that we had and easily do some crafts. Lastly, in terms of the quests that we've done some combat things. So we got these 3 and cows just from clearing the caves and breeding up cows. And we have this Hail to the King that we got by defeating the King slime. Now for this one, we can pick a significant reward, and I'm thinking we want the Cobalt Hammer. Since we don't have a tool forge station thing yet, But once we do, I think this is going to be the most useful. The other contender in my head is this broad axe to help us decapitate trees and get a lot of wood easily. But I think we're going to be ending up needing the mining a little bit more, so we're going to grab the hammerhead. Might be a mistake, might not be. I think these are repeatable after we claim them, so that's something to take a look at. And all in all, in terms of quest rewards, we have tons of tokens and loot bags to get through. Let's just toss this away. And let's talk about these tokens a little bit here. So we have a lot of these tokens, we've been collecting them from all of the quests, and what we can do with them is we can go to this section and we can hand them in for various rewards. For example, we can hand in these explorer tokens for some crop sticks, or get some fertilizer, or aluminum ore berries if we need. So I'm not really looking to spend too many of them. This one could be very, very useful as soon as we need rubber, since we have not found rubber trees, I don't think. I think we're gonna do this one immediately, Forest Ranger 1. Actually, use our sleeping bag right now since it's night. Alright, so with this Forest Ranger task, I would like to grab, eventually like a bunch of these would be really nice, but for now we're gonna grab the jungle saplings. And the reason for that is because I believe it should get us another quest done. So if we do this one, so Sacred Oak, Redwood, or other red one. I am not sure. These seem like they produce a lot of wood, and I'm not sure which one is best. So we're just not gonna claim this for now. Alright, going back to the coins though. This one can be significant because it's a way to get these Pam's Harvest Craft Gardens, which is useful because of, where is it? Somewhere, oh it is, I'm just blind. So in order to do this quest, we need to get a bunch of gardens, as well as tofu and several of these meals. Now I think we're actually able to craft up not quite all of them, but we have like a significant part of the ingredients, like smoothies, fries, or potatoes. We need salt is one of the biggest things, but we'll get into that once we start our Pam's journey properly. So we definitely want to keep in mind that we can get a bunch of those. Let's actually hand this one in as well. Alright, and that is relevant because once we grow those, that will help us with this quest here. So we should plant those, and that way we can get this quest started as well, and that should hopefully unlock Thaumcraft. Not that we're really in any position to do significant amounts of Thaumcraft, but it looks like the biggest thing is probably going to be this sticky matter to get some resin if and when we need it, and just keep in mind that we have the option of producing goods with some of this other stuff. Okay, with that all said and done, I think the last thing that we're going to do before trying to go exploring and looking for some ores is we're going to start opening up our loot bags. So let's empty our inventory a little bit more. These, I should mention actually, before we opened the loot bags, we ended up burning through almost all of our iron. All of the iron that we mined down in the mine. So if we just head down and we'll take a look at some of the off-screen mining I've been doing. We've mined out pretty much almost this entire section. There's just some in the red granite left, but this is almost all mined out of iron. And we even started mining on the level below, just a little bit. But all of that iron is almost all gone. Several stacks of it. I think we had like 4+ stacks of iron, and we're down to 1.5. So we've used a bunch on these quests. And so we'll probably like go mining off camera as well, as we need to stock up on some iron. Alright, inventory empty. Let's grab our loot bags and start opening. Alright, so we opened up all of the Stone Age loot bags, and this is what we got more or less. Notably, a lot of dyes, a bucket that's handy, a bunch of different foods and saplings, and some redstone torches. Now we did have a little bit more food from the loot bags, but we have been eating some of it, and overall, nothing really too monumental, I don't think. Almost all of this stuff we've seen before or have no need of, like the food. We also opened up the Steam Age loot bags, and they're over here in this chest. And here we actually got some really nice good stuff. Some bronze ingots and some red alloy ingots that I'm sure we can find some use for. We got some diamond ore. I have no idea what we would use that for, but it's fantastic to have. We got some sticky pistons. Again, these seem like they're hard to make. Let's just look at the recipe. Okay, that's not as bad as I thought, but it still requires these red alloy plates, which are made with the ingots that we just got. So it's still just a good thing to have. And a couple bits of food and spawn eggs that I'm sure are nice, but not really deal breakers. Alright, so we have some more food loot bags to open up. Let's take a look. Slow food. What? We got levers out of the slow food bag? Fast food does actually give us something that is fast food. And pressure plates? What is going on? That was mostly not food. Okay, let's grab this IC2 crops bag. Is this just a building block? Maybe it's not. Maybe it actually has a use, but that does not seem like a crop. Now for this common treasure. Ooh, ender pearls, potions. I like the ender pearls. So several coins, some goodies. Let's throw these away. Alright, so that is our loot bags open. We have these quarter hearts left. So we can craft them up into an extra life. Not that I think we're using hardcore, so lives shouldn't be relevant. Yeah. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to mine up some more iron, and we're going to look around, try to see if we can find some copper and some tin ore, because we need a fair amount of these ingots. So I will cut to that, maybe you'll see what other ores we find, and I'll catch you guys in a bit. Okay, so we've mined out the rest of the first layer of our mine, as well as the entirety of the second layer of the mine. So there's still plenty of iron in the ground, as we can see, but I have a feeling that it's not going to last too much longer, because once we start going down, we stop seeing the ore in the ground. So I suspect that this might be the last layer, so we got one more layer to go. But I do want to say, these backpacks are awesome. So on one hand, one thing that they do is that they just automatically collect whatever we mine. So we're mining a bunch of stone there, and none is our inventory. It all went into this digger's backpack. And the same is true for, say, ores and dirt and stuff. All just automatically goes into our inventory. So that's awesome. Not only is it storage, but it's storage that auto collects, meaning that it auto keeps our inventory sorted and managed, and we don't have junk all over. But on top of that, we can even empty it. So if we just shift right click, we can see that all of the stone in this backpack has gone into this barrel, which stores cobblestone, and the remaining dirt we can just toss into this chest, which has a dirt in it. If there's something with more than one, so in this case we got an emerald and some magnetite, if we click a chest with it, you'll see that both the emerald and the magnetite has left the chest. But that's still really good if we just keep all our ores in like one place, like they are here, then it's just quite simple to just dump it all out into the chest. And so another benefit of that is when it comes to harvesting our crops. Right now I do have some stuff in this backpack, but let's just toss it aside for the time being. So one thing we can do is we can just harvest our crops here. And then all of the materials go in our backpack. Right here. And then we just, bam, they're all dumped out in here. Alright. So let's get started on our journey to find copper and tin. So what we'll do is we will, let's turn on the ore vein overlay. So we're going to want to go over to the center of a 3x3 section, so that would be somewhere like this. We're just going to dig straight down and see what we find. Not quite sure. Mica, polysite, cassiterite, kyanite, cyanite. Yeah, it looks like aluminum for this mica ore. And for cassiterite, antimony, I believe that is. SN. Where's that? Tin? Yeah, tin is SN. Alright, so now we just need to find copper. Some limonite, and actually, is that malachite? Malachite is copper. Yep. So we've got our copper and tin. I guess it's going to be just a cut towards after we mine some of that stuff. We're gonna go for like a couple stacks of each and whatever other ores that we get along the way. All right. So we're back. We've mined a bunch of copper and tin and gotten it all smelted up. It took a lot longer than expected because there is so much of the other ores, like the limonite and all the other stuff. So it took us a fair bit to actually get the specific ores that we wanted, which was the tin cassiterite and the copper malachite. But it is done. And would you look at that? It looks like that was exactly what we needed to progress. So let's knock out the next quest. I don't think we're going to get to the multi-block this episode, but that will likely be for the next episode. But at the very least, we can go ahead and get some bronze. So let's go ahead and claim these. Bada bing, bada boom. Now to make bronze, we're going to need bronze dust, which looks like we can craft just by 3 copper dust, 1 tin dust, which is, I assume, why we needed the ratio of 48 and 16. So let's grab our, where is it? Somewhere in here. Mortar, 16 tin, and only 16 here, so let's go and grab another mortar. Okay, turns out we did not have another mortar, so let's go ahead and make a quick detour, make a new mortar, and grind up this copper. And boom, bronze dust. Now we need to smelt this up into bronze ingots, so let's go ahead and do that, and we'll check back when that's done. Alright, while we wait for our bronze to smelt up, we did end up getting our greatwood and our silverwood trees to grow. So let's go ahead and try to chop these down. This greatwood one in particular is going to take a little bit, but we do need it for the Thaumcraft starting quest. Let's just knock away at it. Okay, we have finished chopping down the silverwood and greatwood trees. Let's take a look at what we got. We got a ton of greatwood logs, a stack of silverwood logs, and a lot of greatwood saplings back. Unfortunately, we didn't get a silverwood sapling back, but I think that's to be expected. If I remember correctly from like old versions of Thaumcraft and stuff, the replacement rate or like the return rate on silverwood tree saplings is less than 1. So if you start off even with like a large number of silverwood trees, eventually you're gonna run out of saplings because you get less than 1 sapling back per tree on average. It's a little unfortunate that we didn't get it back, but we do have the quest to just get more saplings whenever we need from the coin thing. So we can just repeatedly do this quest, and we can repeatedly get coins just by repeatedly doing these kinds of quests. So they'll give us various coins that we can use for that. Now, let's go ahead and grab these out of our backpack, and that should get the quest done. Yeah, look at that. Let's go ahead and hand this in. And let's see if we opened up a new quest line anywhere. Doesn't look like it. Maybe this? No, that was from the bronze thing. It would be somewhere in the magic set right here. I think it would be this section, but I don't know how we would unlock it. Of course, I can just change view mode, but that's not fun. Anyways, our bronze should be smelted by this point, so let's go ahead and check in on that. Indeed, the furnace has finished, so let's grab our bronze. And this is another quest done. Hog. Alright, so we're not gonna do this quest here. It looks like there's a lot of steps, a lot of process here. But what we can do is we can try looking... Oh. Ooh. Okay, so let's go ahead and maybe try this stuff. Alright, molten bronze, pickaxe head. We're also gonna need a shovel. And boom. That's done. Okay, let's see what that opened up. We need to find a skystone chest. This is like an applied energistics thing, I think. Save them for later. You can't do AE2. Make them an EV. Blah, blah. Well, let's just go ahead and grab this. Bronze javelins, so we need arrowheads and tough rods. I don't think we have casts for those. Sword blade and tool rod. We're gonna need casts for those as well. I think we have the sword. No, we stole that. Crossbar. Yeah, so let's go ahead and make those casts if we can and get these parts cast. Alright, and there is all of the bronze sword related stuff. Let's go ahead and claim these two. And where's the javelin? Bang, bang, bang. And quest complete. Alright. We're about out of time for this week's episode, but there's just a couple things that I'd like to say before we finish off. First of all, thanks to one of my viewers for pointing out an issue with black bars in the video. It was a simple fix really, but unfortunately, I had a lot of this episode's content recorded before seeing that message, so I fixed it by scaling the video for a large portion of it. However, moving forward, that should be fixed natively, so there should be no stretching in the future videos. However, it's a very minor stretch even for this episode, barely noticeable, so it should be fine. Secondly, I'd like to talk about pacing moving forward. So, I've been uploading this series weekly every Friday, and while that's been great, it's been fun, I've been having a good time. I'm finding myself, as I progress further and further, having to spend more and more time on each episode. And part of that is just because it takes more time to get resources and materials off camera. For example, I spent hours and hours mining in this episode just to get all of the copper and iron and tin and stuff that we need. So that ends up taking time. And then the other thing is pretty big is editing. As I get better at editing, I grow more confident. I do like neater things, like that little edit with the Who's That Pokemon in the last episode. Those kind of things also take time. And so I'm finding myself spending 10-15 hours a week on these episodes, which is a lot given that there are other things like work and hobbies that I spend time on. And so I'm thinking that this is kind of an unsustainable pace moving forward. So we're going to change uploads to bi-weekly every 2 weeks. And hopefully that's going to be a little bit better for my schedule. I'm absolutely enjoying this series. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. We're just adjusting the rate of uploads to, prevent burnout or prevent like stress from feeling the need to have an upload every week. But that said, I've been having a great time, and I will see you all in 2 weeks on the next episode of GregTech New Horizons.